went to USC, but I picked that just because they gave me a full ride, and it was based on academics, so I didn't think I was going to get to play there just because their water polo team is like insanely good. But in the end, my mom convinced me to just.
It feels like I've always been interested in the fitness industry, but so we have to go way back. I think where I got really interested in health and wellness is when I was younger, 7th grade.
Like, I feel like I'm meant to be in LA. I want to do more of the TV production side of things. I want to be in front of the camera as well. So I feel like LA is going to probably be where I move within the next few years. But then, I mean, I would be open to even going.
Yes, most definitely. The first thing is it really helped me put things into perspective that, well, chiropractic is not the most important thing in my life. I have other responsibilities, and that really kind of shifted it more towards, making me focus more on family.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today we're talking with Dr. Kametz, and he goes into why he does what he does, which is chiropractic, and what really drives him and what he's passionate about. His new view, considering his new family addition, his music tastes, and his view on health and fitness. Here you go. Welcome to the show. Thanks for listening, and enjoy the show.
See ya. 2 times in one day.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah. So I am here with Dr. Joseph Kametz, and so I just tell me right off the bat, what do you love about your work?
What I love about my work most, Robert, is to see people that were really sick or hurting or desperate for a solution, and they've tried over and over other avenues, and then finally they come into the office and they get well. And that to me is more rewarding than anything else.
Yeah. So you just had a little baby Michael. Yeah.
Michael Joseph Kametz the first. It beats Joseph Peter Kametz the fourth, I guess.
So tell me how that's going, how that is, just your experience. And how old is he?
Almost 3 months.
Almost 3 months. Okay. You're not going in weeks like he's
November 7th was when he was born. I'm not very good at mathematics, so whatever that comes to. But I think the way I went into the baby was I had no expectations, and that's what made it fun. My parents just took off. They were here since the birth all the way till last week. So now it's a lot more work for us. But I'm learning as I go, and I'm just enjoying myself with it. It's pretty cool.
And he's the cutest little button, man. Come on. He's a cute kid.
He is so damn cute, isn't he?
So, since he arrived, has anything shifted, like, the idea of, fatherhood, responsibility, looking at your future, the business, like, what's, anything shifted there?
Yes, most definitely. The first thing is it really helped me put things into perspective that, well, chiropractic is not the most important thing in my life. I have other responsibilities, and that really kind of shifted it more towards, making me focus more on family. So that's been a huge plus on it.
Yeah. And the future of your family, that's really awesome. When I see you in the office, and I've dealt with you, oh man, I got to deal with it. There's this thing about you that you're very clinical, but not. You break it down. You say, this is, you explain everything. I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's idiot-proof. When I look at it, I'm like, oh yeah, this totally makes sense. It's not like you're hiding anything. It's really, really great and straightforward. What's the process in your head? What goes on in your head when you're looking at, you take pictures and you're looking at somebody's spine? What goes on in your head? What's the process?
Good question. Clinically, yes, I have a very, very solid foundation of understanding of the nervous system, biomechanics of the disc. Yes, I understand that very well. And I can explain it very well. When it comes to that is all great for analysis, But when it comes to the application, it's very simplistic. So yes, I have this, there is a very much a step-by-step methodical process that I go into for analysis, but by the time it comes to the adjustment, that's the art form, and that's the pleasure in it. Mm-hmm. So what you said is true. Yes, I do have this clinical mind, but like I said, the application is very simplistic.
Yeah.
However, understand that the simplicity of the application, that does not correlate with the benefits, because the benefits are far, far greater than how simplistic that application can be.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, when you do your talks, I've been to multiple talks, your evenings, and you said it a ton of times, and what's really interesting to me is how the nerves and impingements of the nerves affect, you know, all kinds of different stuff, you know, like your organs and, you know, all kinds of, what do you see as, if you can name off a benefit, say, for someone who is the youngest, maybe a youngest patient you have, as to the oldest patient you have, and I'm going to assume it's going to be different.
Yes, well, when the nervous system is not being interfered with, chiropractic deals with the law of life, and life can only flow through the body when the nervous system is intact. You cut the nerve going to your heart's not going to beat. You cut the head off the body doesn't work. It's very simple in that understanding, and we know that's a scientific law. When you have a chiropractic condition, which is called the subluxation, if you have any questions on that, you can look on the website and you'll see that. What that does is that interferes with that transmission of that nerve impulse, and that can cause pain, but that's only about 6% of the function of the nervous system. The other 94% is what's running the body. So, for instance, in the last week we've had a couple of these cases, and that's why I'll mention it. If you have a subluxation, which is a chiropractic condition that causes low back pain or sciatica, those same nerves go into the ovaries for women. And if you get a restricted nerve impulse into the ovaries, over time the cells that make up the ovaries will start to malfunction. And the job of these cells in the ovaries is to make testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. And if you have a subluxation, that will interfere with the body's ability to make those hormones. Now, one cell malfunctioning is not a big deal, but when you have thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of cells in the ovaries not functioning properly, now you have a symptom. Heavy menses, painful menses, irregular periods, infertility. Very recently, this was in the past 2 weeks, we had a girl that came in quite a few months ago now, obviously, because she just had her baby, but 10 years ago she was involved in a very, very severe car accident. And she had a ton of low back pain, She never got treated for anything. Well, 3 years after that, she had her son. And she had her son at 28 weeks, which is about 10 weeks too soon.
Yeah.
Now, she was lucky to have the son. The son is perfectly healthy today, but had her body been functioning properly and she'd been able to make the right amount of hormones, she would have been able to maintain that pregnancy. Well, that was 7 years ago. So since that point, she has had over and over miscarriage, over and over. And finally, she came into the office, and we checked her out, and we found that she had a subluxation that was indeed causing her low back pain and a sciatica. But because her ovaries were not getting a good nerve impulse, she was not able to maintain a pregnancy because she could not balance her hormones.
Yeah.
We started adjusting her. She got pregnant. She had her baby 2 Mondays ago. She held it within 3 or so days of a full-term pregnancy.
Wow.
And this is after miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage. Now she will say, oh, chiropractic's what did it, but it's not the truth. Her body actually did it, but we had to get rid of that interference to that subluxation at her fifth lumbar, and as soon as that happened, her body started functioning normally. So what chiropractic is good for? Anything with babies, for instance, colic for babies that have digestive issues or gas pains, ear infections with children we see, headaches too, all the way up to just mobility for very, very old people.
Wow. I've never heard of that being something that could be done, through chiropractic, like, women and fertility and stuff like that. And I've never, like you mentioned, you started chiropractic at a very young age on yourself, not doing it on yourself, but your mom had you go and see a chiropractor at a young age.
Not young enough. I first went to a chiropractor when I was 17, I believe, and I went in because I had torticollis, and that's when your neck's cranked over like this.
Yeah.
And I got it because I was doing shoulder shrugs, something that I don't do anymore.
Yeah.
And chiropractor, he adjusted my neck, and I thought he broke it, but next thing you know, my neck was straight, and I felt a lot better. It took about 10 years later. I went back to the chiropractor when I was 28. And I went in for severe sciatica, and I had gone to lots and lots of chiropractors. I was not getting any help with it. It had been going on for 8 months. And the chiropractor adjusted me, and I said, "You did something different. I feel there's a change."
Yeah.
And then he said, "You see that nerve right there?" He's pointing at my spine, and he says, "That's T4. That goes into your lungs. That may be related to your asthma." And I had asthma since I was 5 years old. I can remember my first asthma attack, and I can remember my last one. And I just wanted my sciatica cleared out. But 2 months later, my sciatica was, very quickly my sciatica resolved. But 2 months later, my asthma was gone. I never took a drug again after that. So after 23 years, my asthma went away. So you're saying at a young age, had my parents known about this at a younger age, I might not have suffered with it. I'm not bitter. I mean, it's obviously why I'm a chiropractor today.
Yeah.
But I don't want to see other kids suffer like that.
Yeah.
Right?
But you haven't always done chiropractic as a profession. You started out in school something different?
Yes, I started out in school at Penn State. I graduated from Penn State with a degree in logistics, and then I worked for Oracle as an implementation consultant for their supply chain software for 6 years. And that's when I had the experience with chiropractic, and that's why I went back to school.
You're just like, the light bulb went off, and yeah. And
I think had I done things properly, I took that major at Penn State because Penn State had the top program in the country. However, it never really interested me.
Yeah.
I was more interested in exercise science and physiology, and the only reason I did it is because I didn't know what I would do when I got out. But I should have went with what I loved. It worked out in the end. Right?
Yeah.
But I should have went with what I really loved.
Speaking of should-haves, shitting on yourself.
Yep.
What is one thing that you've done that if you were counseling your younger self, you would say, do not do that? And what is one thing that you've done that if you're counseling yourself, you're like, absolutely, I would do that again, no question?
I think the one thing that I would counsel my kid to do is to do what you love. Never let your focus be on getting a job or getting a good paying job or doing something that you don't like to get by. Do whatever you love, and things will work out. So that is my best advice, or somebody else, of something that I should have done. I should have done that early. And what was the next question? I'm sorry.
What is something that you've done that you're absolutely like, I would, if it had to do it again, I would absolutely do it again, no doubt?
Going to chiropractic school. I went back when I was 28, and it was a lot of work at that time. I never wanted to go back to school again. But I would say that was one thing I would do again. And on top of that is actually do everything I did with Dr. Gohl. I worked with Dr. Gohl from 2004 when I met him all the way till he died in 2012. So I had those 8 years with him. And I tried to learn everything about technique and application from him. And it was hard. Man, even coming out of school, I was not competent. It took a long time. And even to this day, I continue to learn. But as hard as that was and as frustrating as it was all worth it because of where I'm at now. I couldn't imagine doing my job with any other way.
Yeah. You just speaking of Dr. Goal, if there was one person that you could, maybe Dr. Goal, if you can interview somebody, one person you can interview, who would it be, and what would you ask them?
Well, of course, if I could have one more moment back with Dr. Goal, I would. Now that there's a certain level of competency that I have, I'd be able to. It'd be much more insightful to me now. Mm-hmm. But if there was anybody else that I could really interview, this really comes down to two people: it's General Patton or Theodore Roosevelt. And I'd probably go with. There's so many incredible stories about each of them. But Patton, one thing I loved about Patton was he really shows you can change. He grew up like a rich kid.
Yeah.
And he had no responsibilities. He had plenty of money. He could do whatever he wanted to. But what he wanted to do was become a warrior. And what he did was all his focus was, I got to kill off this innocent little kid. And I got to become this general.
Yeah.
And he built himself into this general and, arguably the best of all time.
Yeah.
So that would be fascinating to understand exactly how he did it, because there's certain aspects of my personality as an expressive that I would really like to change, right? So he would be fascinating to interview.
Yeah.
To see how he did that.
My grandfather was in Patton's First Army, Battle of the Bulge.
So the Third Army was
the Third Army,
yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah, he got shot in the face.
Incredible.
But, yeah.
Is he still around?
Yeah, 96. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So if you could, let's put it this way: if you had your entire life on your back, and now that you have a family, you've got your entire family's life on your back, where would be the first place you'd go?
Well, I can assure you that I wouldn't go to a beach somewhere. Right? So if I could just pick up and go anywhere with the family, it would be wherever Lee wants to go.
Yeah.
But I'd love to go through Europe, and I'm a huge history buff. I love history, and I'd love to go back through like World War II battlefields there. I think that'd be fascinating. And if I had to stay local or something else for like vacation, I love the mountains.
Yeah.
A secluded cabin in the mountains somewhere with a couple snowmobiles and some friends. That would be great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's your guilty musical pleasure?
Oh, boy. Well, obviously, you come into the office, it's all uplifting, like Christian, inspirational music in there. And most of the time during the day, if I'm working out or something like that, I'll put in chiropractic philosophy talk just to keep my head focused. But on the weekends when I let loose, I love like hair metal. Yeah. Hair metal bands and old school rap.
Really?
Those are my two favorite indulgences.
Example of both. What's your old school rap?
Old school rap would have to be Eric B. and Rakim. Do you remember them?
Yeah, I do.
Well, certainly top 5 of all time groups, I think. And then for the hair metal, I always like Quiet Riot.
Yeah,
I think that's how I got involved with it.
Yeah. Well, what's a community, if you can impact? What's one community that you would go to work on impact?
Yeah. Good question. There's really, within my profession, I would really love to help teach people these skills that Dr. Gold taught me. Mm-hmm. That was the biggest thing. Oftentimes, if you go to a chiropractor right now, you're not even getting adjusted, right? You're getting nutrition or something else, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's really not what it is. So that would be one thing I'd love to work with my peers on more. But as far as the community, it's really the young families. Mm. When you're 70 and 80, you're pretty well set. But when you're young and you're raising a family, you can teach your kids, your little ones, good habits. So really, mostly young families are really that we love working with. Mm-hmm. And it's mostly women at the office, just because they're the ones that usually make sure that the husbands are healthy and the kids are healthy. Mm.
Yeah, I got that. And healthy so they can support and provide for their family and stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, how the hell are you going to support a family if you know you're getting organs cut out of you, or you're taking drugs? Right?
You're in pain. Yeah, it really impacts the people around you. Yeah, and
the children are the ones that I'm most greatly concerned about. Parents' rights are being pulled away. Like now, there's a mandatory vaccine law, and if anybody does any research on it, and what people choose, I really don't care. But if anybody does any research on it, you will certainly see there is certainly a risk of doing it. And I don't like that those rights are being taken away. Now, the parents and stuff need to do their own research, but look at me. 5 years old, I was taking chemicals since I was 5 years old. I know some of that stuff is bioaccumulated in my body, and it'll never get rid of it, right? But what if that kid could get adjusted and not have asthma?
Yeah.
How great would that be for them? So I think that's the groups that I'd really like to focus on.
Yeah. How old is chiropractic?
Chiropractic was discovered in 1895 when D.D. Palmer of Davenport, Iowa, pushed on the back of some janitor in his office who was deaf, and he said the janitor said that after 2 treatments he got his hearing back. And then, funny enough, D.D. Palmer thought he had a treatment for deafness, and people started coming to Iowa to get their hearing back. And I don't think anybody got their hearing back, but people got rid of their headaches or their sciatica or their cancer or whatever their menstrual issues. And he thought he had a cure for all disease. He really didn't. He had a cure for one thing, and that's the correction of subluxation, which is what chiropractic is about. But when the body isn't subluxated, you don't have those conditions, and that's what nobody can understand. Is most people think it's normal, and you will be programmed just by listening to commercials that it's normal to be sick. Normal.
Yeah, it's like
headaches.
Aging. We get older. You got to take pills and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're programmed to believe that. Yeah. But that's not true. Healing is an internal process. Mm-hmm. So that's where it all started from.
Like I've heard you say a million times, the body's smart and dumb at the same time, and this kind of thing. Like it heals itself when you.
And everybody sees this, Robert. It's so ridiculous to have anybody even not believe it. If I take a knife right now and cut your arm, your skin cells are going to start, you're going to kill tons and tons of skin cells, but it doesn't matter because your skin's going to make new cells, and you're going to heal up that cut. Yeah. And that same healing power for your skin is at work in every organ of the body. It's going to be interfered with if you have damage to the nervous system, and it can't do that. So that's what chiropractors do. Correct that nerve interference, and then the body has the best chance to heal itself.
Yeah.
And it does.
Yeah. Cool. So if you got a ton of responsibility, new family, business that you're running, long days. I know what you're up to. I know I've seen just glimpses. I rarely see you. You're like you call me as much as an ex-girlfriend would. Kind of thing. So,
come on, that's not true. Once a week.
So, what gets you up in the morning, or what gets you up in the middle of the night? What's your why? Why do you do what you do?
So people don't have to suffer. Ultimately, that's what it comes down to, is that I was thankful that I got healed when I did, and I'd hate to see people have to deal with this. That's my why. I had an experience with it, and that's why I do what I do. I gave up my other career for this, and this is something I love. It's in my passion. It's in my blood. It's all I think about.
Awesome.
A little bit too much.
A little bit too much. Do you ever catch yourself, looking at people and like, I know for me, I watch people walk by and see how their gait is and how they stand and stuff like that as a postural thing. You ever look at people and are like, they can use this or that, or?
No, I don't. I honestly don't. I look at people and I'm like, man, I would love to help that person someday.
Yeah.
But no, I don't go. Posture is not something that. Posture is a function of the nervous system not functioning properly. That's what keeps people bent over.
Yeah.
So no, I don't really concern myself with that. But I just look at them and I'm like, oh man, I'd love to help that person someday.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Joe.
Yes.
I really want to tell you how much I appreciate you being here, and I know your time is really valuable, and you gave your time so generously today, and I really want to thank you for that.
Well, Robert, I will always give time for you, and I love and appreciate you. And We are at the northmost end of State Street in Carlsbad, 2562, I think.
Good to know your address.
It's on my business card.
You want to call Lee and find that out real quick?
No, I know how to get there every morning.
Yeah.
I show up on time.
Yeah,
so.
cool. Right on. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, brother.
All right, thank you. Check, check, check.
Robert.
Yeah.
Well, Robert.
Yeah. Joe?
Yes.
All right, and there you have it. I really, really want to thank Dr. Kametz for joining us today and really getting into it and digging in there. And I want to thank you for listening, you out there in listening land. You can follow me on Facebook, Robert Budd, Facebook page, on Instagram and LinkedIn, Snapchat, RobertBudd16, and have an amazing day. Have just a beautiful, gorgeous day. Be happy, be excited, be loving. Call someone you haven't talked to in a long time, and live life. Love you.